If you are pregnant or you've recently had a baby, this podcast is for you. I'm your host, Kath Bequee. I'm a physiotherapist working in women's health and mum of 3. Inside my online program, Fitness Mama, I help women feel confident and strong inside out as they navigate pregnancy, birth, and postnatal recovery. Each week, I bring you 2 episodes to support you on your motherhood journey, whether it's real and raw birth stories from fellow mums, expert interviews with trusted health professionals, or bite-sized Q&As where I answer your most common questions. It is possible to feel amazing in your body during this stage of life, and I want that for you. Come and say hi on Instagram at kathbequee.physio, and let's dive into today's episode. Hey, welcome back to the Pregnancy, Birth and Recovery podcast. So today's solo episode, nice, quick, short episode, but we're going to get straight into getting back into exercise safely postpartum. So we're discussing those first 6 weeks postpartum, those early days. How are we going to move our body safely and carefully in a way that's supporting our recovery and a way that's beneficial for the stage of recovery that our body is at? And I love this topic. It's actually come about from a question asked by a follower on Instagram who responded to one of my question boxes. And she asked how to manage baby wearing with the carrier and with a prolapse. And I thought this warranted a larger discussion where we'll talk about this, but also a larger discussion around recovery. So, quickly, let's discuss the benefits of rest. I think this is one of the most underrated ways that we can get stronger after birth and we can help our body's recovery. Because the benefits of rest, whether or not you've had a vaginal birth or a caesarean birth, this is a stage. Let's discuss a vaginal birth. Your pelvic floor muscles have stretched up to 300% during birth, which is amazing. They've done their job. They've stretched. They've allowed the baby's head to pass through the birth canal. And now with recovery, we're wanting that natural recoil to occur. We want those fascial connections to strengthen again. We want that muscle strength to return. And you could be the strongest woman in the world, but if you've just had a vaginal birth, if you've just had a cesarean, then it's not just the muscles that have been impacted. It's the connective tissue, the fascia. And I'm sure I've said this before in the podcast, but you know when you eat a piece of steak, it's not just the red meat. There's the white sinewy bits. And that's what we're wanting to help with the recovery. We want that to knit together and strengthen its connection because it's just been stretched. And you can't exercise to get that stronger necessarily. The best thing to support that is time, but not just time. We want to take that stretch off so that natural recoil occurs. You can imagine if you're standing, you've got the weight of gravity going through your pelvis. If you're sitting, you've got the weight of gravity going through your pelvis. So resting doesn't mean just sitting all day. When I talk about active rest, I'm talking about bursts of horizontal rest where we're actually deloading the pelvis. And I don't mean we're going to lie down all day, every day postpartum, because that's not great either. We're talking about interspersing bursts of the horizontal rest into our recovery in those first 6 weeks. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's chat. I think I've got 6 tips to help you recover and get back into exercise safely postpartum. And in doing so, we're also going to answer the follower's question about baby wearing with a carrier with a prolapse. So I'm going to rattle off a few of these quick tips that, as I said, I think are underrated, but amazing tools to your toolkit if you want to support your recovery. So for the first 6 weeks, we've talked about the rest, we've talked about the benefits of recovery, we've you've got the rest of your life to get fit and strong again. But really, 6 weeks is a golden number, but that you can continue this for a longer period of time if required. So horizontal rest, I've already said that. That's my number one quick tip. Bursts of horizontal rest, 5 minutes even. Have a lie down on your side. If you can master breastfeeding lying down, that's amazing. I know I didn't master this until my third baby. I really struggled, but definitely persevere with attempting to breastfeed lying down, because I know how busy you are, and that's where if you can kill two birds with one stone, amazing. But yeah, horizontal rest, number one. All right. Gradually increasing the walking. As I said before, when we're standing, when we're up against gravity, we've got the weight of all our organs, of our internal, everything inside our body. It's pushing down on top of our pelvic floor. So walking's fantastic. Walking's a great exercise, but you don't want to go from doing no walking and then 4 weeks later, you're feeling good and you go for an hour-long walk for the first time. This is when often I see women in the clinic who are like, oh my God, I've actually developed some pelvic heaviness after a really long walk, my first walk, which was an hour. So if we can gradually increase it, amazing. So what I'm talking about is 5 minutes in that first week. And it's not just 5 minutes all day and then no more walking. What I mean is a 5-minute burst. That's pretty much in the first week. It's walking around the hospital. It's maybe walking around the block when you get home. And then you come home, you might have a little burst horizontal rest. You might, put your feet up, take the weight of gravity off your pelvis or off your abdominal area if you've had a caesarean. Second week, 10 minutes. Third week, 15 minutes. Fourth week, 20 minutes of walking. And by the time we get to 6 weeks, that's 30 minutes of walking. And again, I don't mean that's all you can do all day. I just mean that's a really good time to stop, put your feet up, have a little rest. For example, you might, if you're up to week 2, there might be a 10-minute walk to the park. And then you could, hopefully the weather's getting better, you can put a picnic rack down, have a little lie down with your bubs at the park, and then pop the picnic rug back under basket and walk home again. So just being mindful of how much you're walking and gradually building to that. I guess that's ultimately what we're trying to do. And if you do need to walk a longer period, how can you break it up a little bit? For example, having a lie down on the grass, or, worst case scenario, sitting on a park bench somewhere. Okay, number 3, third quick tip. Let's start some pelvic floor quick lifts. I wouldn't necessarily be doing these straight away in the hospital. There's no mad rush. Imagine being on the footy field and having a hamstring strain. You wouldn't get straight back into the gym to do your exercises. And the same sort of thing we need to think about with our pelvic floor. It's not the time to get into a huge amount of strength work, but to be able to do some lovely reconnect exercises, gentle quick lifts, tapping into your deep breathing, because deep breathing also gets that pelvic floor working. Whether or not you've had a vaginal or a caesarean can be really lovely. I would hold off on the longer strength holds until you've had your pelvic floor physio checkup, your 6-week check, if you can manage that. That's amazing. That's my gold standard, to go and see your local pelvic floor physio for an internal vaginal assessment at 6 weeks postpartum, if that's what you're wanting to do. And I really do encourage it to really help with that postpartum recovery, to help personalize these pelvic floor exercises to you, to help make sure structurally everything's okay, and to help guide you with your recovery. If you're in Melbourne, if you're close to Hawthorn, I am at Hatched House. I'm consulting there a few days a week. So come and check out the website, Hatched House in Hawthorn. Right. So we've talked about horizontal rest, increasing our walking gradually. We talked about pelvic floor quick lifts, and that takes us into managing the bladder and bowels. So, for example, if there's constipation, touch base with your doctor. Maybe you might need some stool softeners, but we really want to prevent having to strain when you're opening your bowels, especially in that 6 weeks when everything's weak and stretched, whether or not that's through your pelvic floor or abdominals. And on that note as well, if you've got any concerns with incontinence, you're leaking unexpectedly, perhaps you don't have a sensed void, like go to the toilet. If there's any bladder concerns, don't wait until your 6-week checkup. Go and see your doctor before that. I know we offer at Hatched House a 2-week telehealth check-in at that 2-week mark, because often there are, there's issues that we can chat about then over the phone before the 6-week appointment. That's just for pre-existing clients only though. Okay, this next one on the list is a game changer. I love this one. So try not to lift anything heavier than your baby. And this sort of goes hand in hand with reducing how much you're driving. Let me explain. Women who have a caesarean are often told you're not allowed to drive for 6 weeks. I actually really love it when women are told this, because what that means is that you can't go in the car by yourself for 6 weeks. And this therefore means you're not hauling your pram in and out the car. You're not taking a big, heavy nappy bag in and out the car. You're not leaving the house for hours on end and walking around heaps and being up against gravity and unable to have a rest for hours on end. So I know that it can be there's a lot of benefits to leaving the house, but to not have to drive yourself, so many benefits to just taking it easy for those first 6 weeks. So if you've had a vaginal birth, I really do still recommend, if possible, do try to limit your driving, because that will help support your postnatal recovery. And not lifting anything heavier than your baby. It's really hard to leave the house and not lift anything heavier than your baby, which I absolutely recommend after a vaginal birth as well as a caesarean. Caesarean, obvious, you've had a major abdominal surgery, but the pelvic floor side of things with a vaginal birth, we really want to protect that recovery. We want to safeguard against prolapse, and we want to support that natural recoil of all those structures that I was talking about, so that structurally everything can heal as well as possible. So that's my next big tip. Okay, and that goes hand in hand with the benefits of baby wearing. We have an upcoming episode where I interviewed a fellow physiotherapist who has totally niched into the baby wearing side of things. It's Anne, a baby wearing physio, and we dive deep into all things carriers, different types of carriers, so stay tuned for that episode. So I'll keep this part brief, but keeping the baby close to us, close to our body, it's close to the center of gravity. So the baby carrier really does help to reduce stress and strain through the body in those early days. Obviously, your baby carrier needs to be suitable from a young age, but if you can wear a baby carrier that's appropriate for the age of your baby, that frees up your hands as well. It can help posturally rather than holding a baby out in front of you. So it can have huge benefits to help reduce aches and pains and the load going through your body. So I'm a huge fan of the baby wearing. Now, going to this listener's question, if you've got a prolapse and you find, and I'm not sure how old their baby was, but if you're finding you're starting to notice symptoms of heaviness when you're baby wearing, there's a few things there. One is absolutely need to get a checkup. Go to your local pelvic floor physio. We need to see what's happening, like what type of prolapse is it? what organs is it involving? What stage is it? Like how, because this will help to guide, by doing a thorough assessment, will help to guide our advice. It might be just that for a few periods we need to deload the pelvis and, avoid perhaps doing any activities that cause that heaviness. But it might also mean quite a few other things as well, such as maybe a pessary support. So vaginal pessary, which is like a silicone. If you don't know what a pessary is, it's a pessary support. It's like popping in a tampon, but it's a different shape. There's different shapes available. It's a bendy silicone thing. So some women find, around 6 weeks postpartum, once they've had the medical check, and you'd have to be fitted for a pessary. It'd have to be sized up for you. But you might find popping in a pessary in the morning relieves all your symptoms of prolapse. It helps to support your organs as the natural healing process occurs. And there's heaps of benefits to pessaries in certain conditions. But what that then means is you're symptom-free as you continue your rehab, and it's supporting your pelvic organs and it's helping with that recovery. So if you are finding you're getting symptomatic with prolapse and it's stopping you from exercising, or it's stopping you from being able to wear the baby in a baby carrier, absolutely go and see a trusted women's health physio, pelvic floor physio close to you. If you're not sure where there are any close to you, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram at kathbequee.physio, because I have quite a wide network of physios in different areas, so I can help you. Right. That's it. So we've talked about my quick tips. I feel like I've forgotten something, but that's what I've got written down. In terms of getting back into exercise, we do generally say have that 6-week appointment with the doctor. Get that medical tick of approval. Gold standard, have your 6-week checkup with the physio. I have a 0 to 6 week module inside my app, Fitness Mama, where I've got really safe, functional exercises that I'm so confident for women who've given birth are able to do. These aren't structured exercises. I don't even call them workouts. They're more core connect exercises and movements that we do on a day-to-day basis. So unless you've had major medical complications, if you're wanting to move your body in a way that's helping you feel good and support your recovery, and you just want it for that first few weeks postpartum while you're not doing as much and you're around the house, come and join our 7-day free trial, fitnessmama.com. But otherwise, just getting into that gradual, slow amount of walking, lots, prioritizing your horizontal rest, bonding with your beautiful baby. You're not going to be at this age for a very long time, and you've got the rest of your life to get fit and strong again. So they are my quick tips for getting back into exercise safely postpartum. It's all gradual, and even when you take it back into getting back into running, again, this is a totally different podcast episode, but I do recommend a very structured approach so that you can monitor your body, you can monitor your recovery, and you can monitor any symptoms that pop up along the way and nip things in the bud. That's what I'm all about. It's longevity. It's playing the long game, not doing too much too soon and then crash landing and having to have a break for a few weeks. If you'd like support either in the clinic for pelvic floor assessment, your postpartum assessment, or you want to be able to do workouts from the comfort of your home with this physio-based online workout app, check out fitnessmama.com. Send me a DM on Instagram. You know the drill. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for sharing this episode with your friends. I appreciate each and every one of you. Catch you next week. Thanks for listening to the Pregnancy, Birth and Recovery podcast, brought to you by Fitness Mama, your app for home-based, physio-led pregnancy and postnatal workouts. If you found this episode helpful, please tap follow, leave a quick review, and share it to your stories. Tag at kathbequee.physio. I'd love to connect and cheer you on. And don't forget to check out the free trial at fitnessmama.com/free to start feeling confident, strong, and supported today. Until next time, remember, a strong body, a confident birth, and empowered recovery is something you deserve. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for individual medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult your healthcare provider for your personalised guidance.